Hey everybody, it's Shamika. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. I appreciate your support. So I made this video today to bring you 4 reasons, you heard it, 4 reasons why you should consider filing bankruptcy, okay? Now, let me get this misnomer out of the way. I know a lot of people that look like me that will say, bankruptcy is bad. Don't do it. It's gonna mess up your credit. Well, let me say this. Your credit is already messed up if you're talking about filing bankruptcy. So it messing up your credit is a myth, okay? 2, it's not always bad, okay? It can be viewed as a great thing. And I'm gonna say 3, look at some of the people who filed bankruptcy. A lot of them are wealthy. So I think to myself, well, if all the wealthy people are filing bankruptcy, what are the broke people doing? I'm gonna tell you what they're doing. They're letting their credit get messed up, obliterated, to the point where they can't get an apartment, a car, or any of those things. But I'm gonna tell you why bankruptcy can be your friend, so you don't have to be one of these people on this side, and you can do what the wealthy people do over here on this side, and that is protect their assets, okay? All right, so let's go. 1, no repo, okay? Repos, I see repos all the time, and if you guys don't know, I am a credit coach. You can go to Credit Hacker, and that is credit with a dash and then hacker.com, and you can go and sign up on my website and you can fix your credit for free. But the bonus is you get to hire me as your credit coach to review your credit, your letters, your reports, and everything with you monthly. Okay, so let me be your credit coach. All right. So like I said, number 1, no repo. Why is that a big deal? Because everybody that I've seen has a repo, and not 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Now I'm not passing any judgment, but I'm going to tell you something that you probably did not know. If you have a car, interest rates too high, you don't like it, it's a lemon, it doesn't work anymore, more than likely you got that car and it is more than $10,000, right? Well, to file bankruptcy of Chapter 7, your minimum of debt that you can have is $10,000. So guess what? Instead of letting them come and voluntarily repossess that car, which is a repossession for those that do not know, you can file bankruptcy and give it back. And guess what happens? The repossession never hits your credit. Now, the bankruptcy does hit your credit. Let me say that, okay? Because I know people are going to say, well, so what? The repo doesn't hit, but the bankruptcy does. Okay, but bankruptcy reads to banks as responsible, whereas the repo reads as irresponsible. So you can give a car back, get out of those high behind payments that you're in, the car that's a lemon that keeps breaking down, that you keep going to put in the shop, spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Yes, I'm talking to you. You can go and take that car back, give it back, not take it back, give it back, meaning you would put it into the bankruptcy and you would let them know that you don't want it, and guess what? It's their responsibility to come and get it, okay? And it doesn't come on your credit as a repossession because it was included as a part of the bankruptcy, and the only thing that will come on your credit is the bankruptcy. You're welcome. All right, 2, credit magic. I love, that's probably the best part about filing bankruptcy is it's credit magic. Now, you're probably saying, how is it credit magic when it's gonna mess up your credit? Follow me. Your credit, when you file bankruptcy, may already be shot to hell. Let's just be honest, okay? Now, there are some people who file bankruptcy and they go into bankruptcy with great credit, but because of some unforeseen circumstance, they have to file. We're not talking about you guys. We're talking about the majority of the people. You're in the 5s, low 6s, maybe even 4s or below, okay? When we're talking about your credit score. So when the bankruptcy hits your credit, it's gonna drop your score. I've never seen a score past 3, high 3s, close to 4s. And here goes something you didn't know. The lower your credit score is when you enter into bankruptcy, the less effect it has on your score. I'll say that again. The lower your score is, when you go into bankruptcy, once the bankruptcy hits your credit report, the effect that it will have on your points will be less than if somebody came in with a 6 or a 700. If I had a 6 or 700 going into bankruptcy because I had some unforeseen circumstance, my score could drop anywhere from 120 to 150 points. But if you go into it with a 500, a 400, your drop may only be 85 points. Now, it's still bad to see your score go down, but the damage is lessened, okay? Now, we were talking about credit magic. Why is it credit magic when your score just dropped? Because everything on your credit will now miraculously turn from the negative that it was now to a positive. See how God works in your favor? I'll explain. Say you have a charged off credit card on your account. Macy's, charged off. Not using it anymore. It already hurt my score. It did what it's gonna do now. Once that account is included in the bankruptcy, they can no longer report on your credit that you owe them any money because now you don't. They also can no longer report that it's charged off because it's not anymore. It's now included in bankruptcy. And according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they have to be accurate. And accuracy would say it's in bankruptcy, so they have to change the remarks that say charged off, written profit and loss, or whatever they want to say. It now will say included in bankruptcy. Now, that doesn't matter that it's included in the bankruptcy, okay? Because you're supposed to include the debts in the bankruptcy, right? The great part about it is, once it does this and changes that charged off amount to now 0, there is no unpaid balance, your score goes way up. So the same person that had that 4, that 3, or that 5 is now automatically bumped to the high 6s, okay? Now, that is, it does depend on what else is on your credit. Now, if you are an individual and you have student loans, and say the student loans were in deferment, they're not really affecting your credit. So when you're once you're into bankruptcy and the items on your credit are starting now to clear up, they may not have a super large jump if you have other things that are still kind of anchoring your score down. Maybe you don't understand that, and maybe that's a thing that credit repairers understand, but everything plays into the factors that are on or the things that are inside of your report. But for the most part, a 580 or better will result from all of the items clearing up, okay? Another thing with this credit magic, those collections that were on your report, they come off. Why? Because they were included in bankruptcy. You no longer owe them. They delete themselves, okay? Your credit literally erases all the things that were negative. They put new things down, and then yes, they do give you a bankruptcy, but your credit cleans itself, okay? It's like a self-cleaning oven. So now once you're finished with your bankruptcy, you have a better score automatically, okay? 3, no court. Now, I probably would say this is probably the best feature of it all, is that you do not have to go and sit in front of individuals or have anybody else see you. Thanks to the pandemic, courthouses, federal courthouses for the most part, are closed to regular business, and bankruptcy is one of those services that they feel that they can do over the phone just fine without having an individual show up. So what better way to wipe out your debt while sitting in your drawers? Okay, now I do things to make this comical because I know that people who deal with debt, they feel some kind of way. They feel bad, they're embarrassed, they're stressed out, but I am making jokes so you can make light of your situation, because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I dropped my paper. I'm going to bend down and pick it up. Give me a second. I'm back. Okay. The next thing, you get instant relief, okay? And you get instant relief because included in a bankruptcy is something called an automatic stay, which is almost like saying everything happens to turn into the mannequin challenge, okay? Everything stops. So if you have creditors calling your phone, those debt collectors calling you, guess what happens? I'm in bankruptcy. They will never call you again. You have lawyers calling your phone. I'm in bankruptcy. They won't call you again. If you are facing a repossession, did you know that bankruptcy can stop that repossession? It can also stop a foreclosure, and it can stop a lawsuit. Now, a lot of people, when I was mentioning earlier about those unforeseen circumstances that will push somebody who has a great 600 or 700 credit score to file in bankruptcy all of a sudden, that happens when an individual gets hit with a lawsuit that they did not expect, whether that's from an accident, whether that is from old debt that they did not pay. You just never know. But those are some of the things you can throw into the bankruptcy so that you can get relief, all right? Now, I did go over the 4 things, so I hope you guys got that. But remember, bankruptcy is not for everybody. But if your situation warrants that you look into bankruptcy, stop thinking that it's super negative and look at the bright side of what bankruptcy can do for your situation. You stressed out, people calling you, you can't get a car because you have a repo, you can't get an apartment because you have an eviction, you don't have the money to pay your debt back, then you should consider looking into filing bankruptcy and get out of this stressful situation and start over, especially if you don't have a lot of assets, okay? You should learn the differences between a Chapter 7, which is a no asset bankruptcy, and a 13, which is a bankruptcy when you would have assets. And when I say assets, I mean homes, cars, boats. You got retirement accounts. You have things that people actually want to come and take, okay? So that would be why you would look at the 13. Now, there are other chapters of the bankruptcy, but for the most part, people would do a 7 or people would do a 13. The majority of the people that I talk to and deal with file Chapter 7s, okay? I'm just going to give a couple situations so that you guys will know. I'm trying to bring situations that will jog memories or thoughts that you can go, that may fit my situation. I had a customer who actually, they rented a car and allowed their daughter to drive the car. Now, being slick, thinking, I ain't gonna put my daughter on my insurance because if I do, she's on the age, my insurance is gonna go up. So I'm not gonna put her on my insurance. But guess what happened? This individual got into a car accident, and because they were not on the insurance, guess what? The insurance did not cover the actual lawsuit. It didn't cover the suit, it didn't cover the damages or anything. So she went from owing nothing to one day she was $150,000 in debt due to lawsuits from the car accident, an unforeseen circumstance that forced her into bankruptcy. That's one. What about individuals who, I got one. You're on a fixed income. You get Social Security. But you weren't taught anything about credit, so you got every secondary credit card on the market. First Premier, Merrick Bank, Capital One, the $300 limit one. You went and got all the magazine cards that come in the mail, and you went and shopped and spent all your money. And now you got 7th Avenue, you got Swiss Montgomery. Is it Montgomery, Swiss Montgomery, or Montgomery Swiss? One of them. But you got all these things reporting on your credit. I'm speaking facts to y'all because these are the actual reports that I see. Now you're drowning. All your money is going to pay these bills, but you want a fixed income. You cannot survive. Your creditor took a hit. You were in the hospital. Now you got all these medical bills you can't pay, and then you lost your job. We can just keep going on and on and on, okay? Nobody's story is too bad or too good that they cannot at least consider filing bankruptcy if it's a situation where you are underwater. Here goes the most important one. Do you know how many people come to me and go, I'm gonna do freedom debt relief. I'm gonna do a debt management plan. And if you don't know what a debt management plan is, that is basically when you hire another company to pay your bills for you. They will call and negotiate with your creditors to lower your payments, lower your interest rates, to help you out. Now, I think that is a great, honorable thing, but y'all need to realize that it is not for you. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because one, your credit was already probably shot to hell when you went to these individuals. Now they're going to go wake up a sleeping giant, which means now that you're entering into a new pay agreement, that means the clock now starts over on that debt that you just had already earned 2-3 years of time served. But now you got to start your prison sentence again because you done signed up with Freedom Debt Relief. So all them 3-4 years has been on your credit. Now the clock starts over again. So now you got more time. Then it's gonna say a debt management plan, which tells a lender who wants to loan somebody money that needs somebody else to pay their bills. Nothing wrong if you're in a fiduciary situation where it's called for somebody else to pay your bills, but when you are an adult and you have to pay another adult to pay your bills because you couldn't manage, nobody is gonna want to give you any money. And then the last thing, other than it wreaking havoc on your credit, I already explained that part, you will not see any change in your score until it's paid. The only thing they're going to do while you're in this debt management plan is change your balance every month, because now it's showing that the payment's going down. But what does that do? How much of that payment's going to go towards the principal? So it moved your payment $14 on your credit report. Your credit's not going to be happy and jump up 20 points. And if it does, it's going to be a total of 20 over the 5 years you was in the debt management plan. So it doesn't work, and it's a waste of time. Now you done spent 3 to 5 years in a debt management plan when you could have spent 6 months in bankruptcy and got out and been done. Started over, done got more new credit cards, but this other person is still over here struggling to pay just to get by, and credit still messed up. So now you got no credit during that time. Now while you're in that management plan, you're not going to be able to get any more credit because it's going to show that you're in the plan. So you're just screwed for a much longer time. Now, if that didn't convince somebody to look into filing bankruptcy, then I don't know what will. All right. If I did not tell you guys already, I am a bankruptcy petition preparer. If you do not know what that is an individual that assists you guys with filling out the paperwork. Basically, I would give you a checklist of the documents that are required to file for bankruptcy, and you would provide those documents to me, and I would take your information and fill out your paperwork and just hand it back to you and say, go forth and do great things. You mail it off to the courthouse, and that's it. Now, you heard what I said in the video. You aren't talking to anybody face to face. It's all over the phone. And if there's any communication between the courts and you, they're going to send you mail. So it's not like you're going to be out there on a limb by yourself. Now, I will say, if you have a complicated situation, meaning you have lots of assets, you're going through divorce, there's a lot of money in it, then you should consult an attorney. If you are a person with no assets, you just got bad credit, you got bad advice, you got a lot of medical bills, you just need the relief, you need to hit the reset button on your life and start over, and you want to file a Chapter 7, you could come to someone like me, fill out the paperwork, give it to you, and you could go about your business, okay? So, gosh, I hope I gave y'all a lot of information on bankruptcy and why you should. Now, if you guys have any questions, please make sure that you put them below. I will do my best to either make a video or to try to address them. I hope I have demystified some of the bankruptcy and show you that it is not as crazy and as scary as people may think. It is just a word. The word has a negative connotation, but if you were to put up pictures of people who have filed bankruptcy, then you will be amongst the wealthy, because that is exactly what they do, okay? So please stop thinking that it's horrible when it's not. It is a resource. It is a tool, no different than a shovel, a hammer, or nail, okay? So please utilize it to your advantage if it fits your situation, all right? So I hope I answered any questions, any thoughts, any worries, and I hope I taught you guys something new, which is what I like to do in every single video. So again, please hit like, subscribe, share the video, hit the notification bell. And if you guys have any questions, please, as always, book a consultation with me. Let's get these things done. Change your life so that you can change your life. All right? Bye, y'all.